All right, what is up, everyone? Today is Saturday, May 27th of 2023. Grateful to be back with another family education and support group. My name is Param, your weekly host of this show, which airs live every single Saturday at 9:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it goes till about 10 o'clock. So it's about a 45-minute session. And on this channel, we cover various topics such as mental health, addictions, personal development, codependency, rebuilding trust, communication, self-care, and a little bit of everything in between. So I love doing this. I'm really passionate about it, but my hope is that it inspires some of you to be able to take a deeper dive into some of these topics on your own time and hopefully get some of the results that we're looking for. And like I like to say that I like to start all of my talks, every single one I ever do, and I dedicate it to the possibility of human transformation. I genuinely and wholeheartedly believe that all human beings, no matter who you are, what you do, you have the ability to transform in any given moment that you choose to. Any given moment. We can transform. If you had a bad day yesterday, you can make a commitment to have a better day today. If you had a bad week last week, you can make a commitment to have a better week this upcoming week. If you had a bad month last month, and so on, last year, and so on, and decade, and so on. So that's what all this is about. What is up? We got we got some people in. Pacific Sands, welcome. Flaherty's in the house. What's cracking? Oh, Mom, always good. East Coast Debbie, there you are. Nina, welcome, everyone. Good to see you guys. So today is a talk that I'm looking forward to doing. It's a little bit on the topic of self-sabotage. And, I'll put a little ticker down there that you're more than welcome to ask any questions or post any comments at any given time through this process. But, Kathleen, John, what's up, guys? Welcome. So pretty much there is this buzzword that happens with a lot of people in life. And that buzzword is the topic of self-sabotage. People say that, hey, I build things up and then I blow it all up. I work so hard to get to a destination and then I lose it all. And here's the thing. There's one version of things happening in life that's out of our control. Things happen to us, around us, that we have no control over. And that's just called life. But there's this other form of destruction and chaos that we bring into our own lives and then put our hands up and say, why did this happen to me? Why is this happening? Why did I do it again? How did I do it again? And this talk hopefully is going to allow us to be able to identify some of the self-sabotaging patterns that we have in our life, in our recovery, in our relationships, in our businesses, in our health, and say that I'm going to make a change. I'm going to do something different. So let's get them all up one by one. There's 10 of them. The number one, and these are not in specific order. Number 9 is going to be my favorite one, just so you guys know. But number 1 is poor understanding of people. I believe that a lot of human beings self-sabotage in life because they have a poor understanding of people. We think that people are supposed to see and feel and experience the world the way we do it. And that's categorically false. People only see the world through their own eyes, based on their own perspectives and based on their own life experiences. So if you're going through a situation with a spouse or a loved one or a friend, and you think that they're going to have the same exact experience as you, I want you to know that's not true. They're having their own experience on the same matter. And a lot of times people get frustrated because they want another person to be able to see and experience exactly what it is that they're seeing and experiencing. And it just doesn't work that way. And people are funny, man. People are so peculiar and funny that, what the human species does? The human species, man, we're something else. We buy things we don't need with the money we don't have to impress people we don't even like. I mean, just think of how bizarre that is. And then people self-sabotage their life because these people, whoever they may be, whoever they are impacting them and forcing them to not be able to do the things they want to do. I mean, just look at it that way. And just know that whatever you're going through, you can't expect other people to have that same perspective in life. It's freaking impossible. And that's why things like counselors and therapy and all that kind of stuff works, is because it allows somebody else to come and be able to download your perspective and offer a few other perspectives that may or may not be true, but at least give them to you. A lot of times people go directly to the source, the person they're in conflict with, and they want them to figure it out or see the world the way they see it. It's just not going to happen that easily. And that's why there's a lot of conflict in relationships. So, by the way, any questions you have at any time, feel free to ask. I always get back to people. The next one that we have here is blaming others. So one of the biggest causes of self-sabotage, it goes back down to blaming other people. So how does that happen? So someone commits to doing something, whether that has to do with their business, with their relationships, with their recovery, with their health, with their life. They say, I'm going to do it. And they're going to get to an inevitable place of stagnation, frustration, burnout, whatever you want to call it. And in that moment, there's one or two options. One, you can turn the mirror and look at yourself and see what you are or are not doing and make changes in real time to be able to overcome that barrier, overcome that hurdle. Or number two, you blame people, blame places, blame things for reasons why you got to that stuck point. You see, it's such an easier out. God, blaming people is such an overused excuse to get out of doing things that we got to do in life. And last week, if you watched, I went very deep and compassionate into the traumas and the pains that other people cause in our lives and saying, hey, I'm not saying that those aren't true or just, but I'm just saying days, weeks, months, years after something's ended, if you continue to blame something that happened years ago, you're never going to move past it. And I'm not even saying you're wrong. Like maybe they did screw you over, but they screwed you over. And now what? And now what? And the same people that blame other people in their past, guess what? They blame other people in the future too. Oh gosh, it's so sad. The same people that do it blame them. Well, we got some cool visitors in the town. Hold on real quick. Got a cousin in from Cabo San Lucas in the house. Jess, PA, you're always welcome. Never late. You're good. Beta, good morning. Good to see you. Today, for those of you guys popped in right now, we're talking about self-sabotage. And we're talking about the things people do that blow up their own progress. And number two, we're talking about blaming other people because it breaks my heart when somebody blames something or someone else for reasons why they aren't moving forward in life. And there's two different ways, by the way. Let me premise this a little bit, give you a little, let me qualify it. It's okay to sit in a therapeutic setting with like a counselor or therapist or clinician and talk about the people that negatively impacted your mind, your heart, your body, your soul, your spirit through the process of growing up. Because you have to go there to be able to work through that. But once you've gone there, once you've worked through it, once you've processed it, once you've made a commitment to put it in the past and move forward, the next time something comes on in life, the next time you experience something in life, don't say it's because they did it to me then and there. Don't say, well, if you would have experienced that too, you would understand it too. At some point, you got to just get off it and move forward. And I know that causes some resentment in people. I know it does. But it's okay. I'm not here to just say things that sound all nice and fluffy. I got to tell it the truth sometimes. And the truth is, blaming other people will self-sabotage your life. And by the way, the same ones that did it to you then, if you use them to self-sabotage, they're doing it to you again. So they keep hurting you in the future, even though they hurt you in the past. You can't give your power away like that. You can't give your power away like that. The next one that I got here is a lack of focus. Now, people that self-sabotage, I do believe that they lose focus somewhere. When people start off something, they're pretty focused because they have like a goal, or at least like some type of a goal or some type of a destination they're going towards. But life happens. Life pulls you in different directions. Good things happen, bad things happen. You get overwhelmed, you get sad, you get stressed, trauma happens, traumatic events happen. In those moments, if you lose your focus, you're going to stop going towards that destination. And that's what happens to a lot of people. They lack focus. And I did this talk with our clients this morning. A lot of them identify with having focus problems, attention deficit problems. But however, those individuals who have the worst forms of, let's call it ADD, ADHD, if you get them doing something that they really like, or they're really passionate about, or they really enjoy, watch them just be able to focus. And I'm not saying that that doesn't exist. Maybe they do have an inability or difficulty focusing in most things, but not all things. And that's where I want people to double down and triple down on. Find what you like in life and focus on it. Find the outcome and the goal, the desire you want, and focus on it. Not what everybody else wants for you to do, what you want to do. That's where the focus lies. And people that lack focus, by the way, they waste two things. First, they waste time. Second, they waste resources. So when you're not focused, you're wasting time. People that tend to waste a lot of time tend to self-sabotage because they're like, what's the point anyway? It took too long to get there. Well, maybe you would have got there a little bit quicker if you would have been focused, dialed in. And when is the best time to focus for the day? The night before. I've shared this before. The night before, write down 5, 10 things that you want to focus on the next day. When you wake up in the morning, the typical first thought is, I got to get up. What do I got to do today? Blah, 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 blah. You pull out that list and bam, there it is. Everything you got to get done that day. Focus on that list. And if there's 10 things on it, don't get overwhelmed by thinking you have to knock down all 10 of them. You know what you got to do? Knock down 2 or 3, the top 2 or 3 most important ones. Research has shown the top 2, they take up 80% of our bandwidth in our mind. It's the 80-20 rule, man. Look that thing up. Just bang out the most 2 important ones on that list. The next morning, wake up, get the 2. The next morning, get the 2. The next morning, get the 2. After 5 days, that list of 10 will be completed. And that's living a life with intention and with focus. Because life pulls us in different directions, like I said. So the next one, by the way, if anybody wants to talk, like I'm on a rambling spree, so feel free to speak. I mean, I got a good workout in this morning. My mind is sharp. I drank a lot of caffeine and coffee products, so I'm good. Let's see what we got here. The next one that people self-sabotage is for just not being informed. Lack of information makes people make impulsive decisions. I mean, how many times in your life have you messed something up, not because you weren't able to, because you didn't have the information to do it? And we understand that in a very simple sense. For example, if you're sitting in front of a math problem you don't know how to solve, and you sit there and say, I'm stupid at math, I don't know how to solve this. But if somebody comes and teaches you the information on how to solve this math problem, all of a sudden, the information allowed you to get the outcome. And life is the same way. Life is like one big math problem. There are solutions to many of our problems. There is information out there, available, accessible to us at the tip of our fingertips, on a Google search away. You know, just on a question, just ask a question, just look it up. The information's there. Once you have the information, it allows you to execute the plan, but you got to be focused. People that self-sabotage, you know what they do? They usually go on their emotions. They get overwhelmed, or they let their anger or their sadness take over and hijack their brain. And then they do something like, oh my God, what did I do? I did it again. How did I do it again? Because you didn't go based on information, and you didn't go based off your thoughts and your intellect. You went based off your emotions. Sometimes that's good, but sometimes it's dangerous when our emotions are really heightened, when we're really triggered. Some of the best advice I can give to anybody that's experiencing serious emotions sometimes, just aim for the pillow. Aim for the pillow. Put your head down on a pillow and go to sleep. Wake up the next day, you'll feel a little bit different. You'll feel a little bit different. I've rarely met somebody that wakes up the next morning exactly the way they did the night before. There's always a little shift in perspective we have. That little shift is sometimes enough to help us not self-sabotage and go forward another day. What do we got here? The next one, this is good. Surrounding yourself with negative people. People that self-sabotage tend to also surround themselves with other people who self-sabotage. Coincidence? No. Okay. So there's something in the 12-step rooms or the recovery rooms that I want to say that I categorically and ultimately disagree with, okay? And that is this. Sometimes in their rooms, they say, hey, go stick with the winners. Go stick with the winners. Go stick with the winners. You want to know why I don't like that statement? because that implies that the other people are losers. And that's not the case. People are people. And just because some people's life decisions and where they're headed right now doesn't align with where you are, doesn't necessarily make them a loser. It just makes them a person that's not aligning with you in this moment. So I like to look at positive and negative influences on my goals. If somebody helps me go to the direction of my goals, that helps me accomplish my goals, that helps me move closer to my goals, that helps me work towards my desired stated outcome in life, that person becomes a positive influence in my life in this moment. And if somebody doesn't, if somebody goes against my goals and against my vision, my beliefs, and my values, they are just a negative influence in my life in this moment. That's it. It doesn't make them good or bad or a winner and a loser, for God's sakes. I mean, why do we got to go judge people like that? You know, and because here's the thing, when you say somebody in the moment is a negative force in my life, doesn't necessarily mean they always will be. Right? If I go back in my life in my early 20s and I was living the way I was living, some people would say, well, that guy's a loser. He's a negative influence on my life. Just stay away from him. But right now, it's like I'm a completely different person. So we got to allow each other to have the dignity and the grace to be who we are and where we are. But here's the thing. If I allow somebody to be who they are and where they are, that doesn't mean I have to engage with them. I just have a lot of compassion and say, if that's what you choose to do with your life today, that's all good. That's none of my business. But it's just not the direction that I'm headed in. I'm going to go head in this direction. And that's the message we got to give to each other. So when you surround yourself with negative people, they're going to co-sign the hell out of your self-sabotage, because negative people also blame other people. Negative people also don't have focus in life. Negative people also don't have a clear, concise, like a precise direction they're headed. And as soon as shit hits the fan, guess what they do? Bam, 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 the blame game comes on. And that's not what you're trying to do in your life right now. So if you're trying to accomplish your goals and not self-sabotage, surround yourself with positive people. Positive people. That's, I'm telling you, it's one of the biggest secrets in life. The more you surround your life with positivity, the more life will respond in a positive way. This isn't some like gimmicky, like manifestation thing I'm talking about. I know some of you guys don't like. I believe in this thing. Our thoughts become things. Our environment becomes concrete. When you have positive thoughts, when you take positive actions, when you say positive words, the world will turn into a positive place. There is something that Dr. Wayne Dyer said that I freaking love. He says, loving people live in a loving world. Hostile people live in a hostile world. Same world. Same world. See, who we are creates what we experience. Who we are creates what we experience. And I'm telling you this, that if you surround yourself with negative people, that is going to overtake you and you're going to find yourself self-sabotaging again, because negative people continue to self-sabotage. What's the next one we got here? Expecting failure. People that self-sabotage almost always expect failure. And you know what that looks like? Before they even start, they say, why should I even try it anyways? I'm not going to succeed. Why should I do that anyways? I'm going to fail. Why should I get in a relationship with them anyways? They're going to leave me. Why should I go to school? I'm stupid. Why should I even try to get sober? I'm going to end up drinking again. What's the point of working on my anxiety and depression? I've been depressed my whole life. So it's kind of like a futile effort. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. So why even start it in the first place? What's the point of that? Just so you can be right about the fact that you failed? Just so you can get a little trophy and award that says, hey, you said you were going to fail, and guess what? You failed. Good job. Mission accomplished. See, people that self-sabotage, they expect failure. And here's the thing. If you want to stop self-sabotaging, you have to believe that you can do it. Why do I do this talk every week for the most part? Why do I commit this time? Because I want someone else out there that has self-sabotaged their whole life, that has failed their whole life, that has struggled their whole life, that for 1 second to believe that I believe that you can accomplish your goals. To believe that I believe that you can transform your life. To believe that I believe that you're worth the effort. And to ride it out and see where it goes. And if somebody does that and realizes, wait a second, my whole life I thought I couldn't do this, and now I just did. Wow. What other lies have I been telling myself? You know, anybody that's ever accomplished something or achieved something in life, at some point it was their first time doing it. We just assume and think that people that like do good things are always succeeding and always winning. Man, behind every successful person, there are thousands of failures that you never hear about, that you never know about. And what we want to do is we just want to look at people on the limelight and say, oh, wow, they're so successful. Look at their house, look at their bank account, look at their life, look at the way they look. Go read about these people. Go read some autobiographies of successful people. It is just covered and riddled with failure. But you got to expose yourself to the information. You got to expose yourself to the information to say, hey, maybe my failures in life aren't a big deal. I'm struggling with this financial thing. This person that's financially successful has struggled with finances for 10, 20 years that I even know about. This person that looks so happy in their relationship struggled in a relationship that they were abused in for so many years and I didn't know about. This person that's so healthy and happy and thriving in life struggled with drugs inside their veins and inside their brain for years that I didn't know about. You know, don't judge books by their cover. And if you're afraid of failure, if you're literally afraid of failure and you expect failure in your life, just know you should anticipate failure. I'm going to say that again. One of the causes of self-sabotage is going into the experience expecting failure. And if you go into any experience expecting failure, I want to let you know this, then anticipate it because it's coming right around the corner. See, the most important thing I can tell you this is find something that you're afraid to do and do it. And do it for a day, do it for a week, do it for a month, do it for 6 months, and do it for a year. At the end of that year, you have new tangible evidence. One is you're the person that failed that could never accomplish that. Or two, you're the person that just accomplished that for a year. And guess what? Now you have a choice. Who are you? Which one are you? The failure or the success? And in that moment, you realize one thing very, very powerful, that you can be and have anything that you want in life if you just get out your own way. Stop listening to your mind on your past failures and believe in your actions in the present moment and see where it takes you. And this isn't some hocus pocus stuff, my friends. This is real talk. It's as real as it gets. What do we got here? We got Maryland. What's up? We got a Florida in the house. What's up, Sharon? Welcome. Eileen, what's the wisdom? What's the nugget today? We can also look at self-sabotage behavior as a habit. It takes wisdom and strength to break the habits that create the self-sabotage. 100%. Self-sabotage can be a habit. It's a habit that's also rooted in a lot of like negative thoughts. So it's like a habit that we believe is us. It's not something that we do. We believe we are it. So it takes a little deeper breakdown of that. But yeah, how do you break habits? Change your behaviors, change your mindset, change your attitude. And after doing it for a while, you're no longer the person that self-sabotages, you're the person that accomplishes their goals and dreams. That's facts right there. So the next one that we have here is, and by the way, any of the new ones that came in, Sharon, Maryland, the way this works is you can write any comments you want, any feedback you want. Today we're talking about self-sabotage in life and recovery. So no right and wrong, totally open forum. And what do we have here? Number 9. Oh, this one's fun for me to teach because I'm gonna do some funny stuff right now. So number 9 says people that self-sabotage, they're unable to learn from others. Okay? Unable to learn from others. Like they say, I gotta do it myself. You know, I know what people tell me, but until I go through an experience myself, I'll never learn. It's like a stubborn little thing adolescents say, you know, but adults say it all the time too. And even if they don't verbally say it, their actions say that. It's like, yeah, I get it for you, but for me, I got to go through it myself. And it's weird because, you know, not many of us have stuck our fingers in an electric hole, you know, electric socket to get jolted to the way we die. But a lot of parents say, don't put your fingers in there, and people listen. the fear of death is like a significant one, right? Like kids just don't do it all the time. Adults don't do it for sure as heck. But we get that analogy, but someone says, hey, don't do this or don't do that. It's going to mess up your life, negatively impact your life. You're like, yeah, maybe for you, but I got to try it myself. And then they do it. They're like, you were right. So learning from others is important, and being unable to learn from others causes self-sabotage. So here's my example that I have. So let's say my name is Param, and I am addicted to banging my head against the wall. I love to hit my head against the wall. Oh my goodness, I love it so much. And I'm walking through life, and one day I see a wall over there, and I say, oof, that's a nice wall. I want to bang my head against it. And I lift my head back, and I go, boom, and I hit my head against the wall, and it hurts so bad. It's a pain that I can't even express to others. And it's hurting so bad, and my eye swells up, and about 15, 20 days later, the inflammation goes away, and I'm feeling a little bit better. But my name is Parm, and I like to bang my head against the wall. So I'm walking across, and I see a wall over there, and I'm like, oof, that's a nice wall. I want to bang my head against it. And I lift my head back, and I go, boom, and I hit it so hard. And this time the pain is even more. It's swelled up. My eyes completely shut, closed. And the pain is so much, I have to take some Advil for it, some ibuprofen. And, it's severely impacting my life. And some time goes by, and I see a wall in front of me, and I'm like, oh, wow, this wall is majestic. I love this wall. And I lift my head back as hard as I go, and I bang, hit my head against the wall. And this time there's blood gushing down my face, and I'm on the ground, and I got a concussion. The little Tweety birds, like the little cartoon, are spinning around my head. And after about a month or two, I get up, and I'm like, oh my God, that was painful. And I'm still walking through life. My name is Parm, and I like to bang my head against the wall. And I see the wall of all walls. I mean, this wall is just like, it has everything you ever need in it. And I get ready to bang my head against the wall. And there's someone sitting right there that says, hey, before you do that, let me tell you something. I banged my head against that wall, and it's a pain that I don't wish on my greatest enemy. The pain that my family endured, that I endured, haunts me to this day. It's a pain that I can't even put words to articulate to you. It's the greatest regret I have in life. And if I can sit by this wall and have somebody else not bang their head against that wall, I will feel like I've done my part in this world. And right when I take my head back to bang against it, I think to myself for 1 second, you know what? I'm going to take this guy's word for it. And instead of banging my head against the wall, I just turn around and I walk away. That's when your life's going to change. That's when your life's going to get better. When you stop having to be the person that firsthand has to experience pain and misery, and you can just listen to somebody and say, I'm just going to take their word for it. I mean, why do we have such a bad ego and trust issue that we have to do things ourselves? Why are we so stubborn? Why can't we just take someone's word for it? Why can't we learn from other people? Because if you don't, you're going to continue to self-sabotage in life. And I can't make that decision for you. I probably spent 30 years of my life having to do things the hard way. In the past 10 years, I'll listen to other people. You tell me something, I'm like, all right, good enough. Trial and error is done, let me just get by. So that's my banging my head against the wall analogy. It's a very clinical analogy. Hopefully it made sense. I've been using that one for long time. It's pretty cool. The next one that we have, number 8, and there's 10 of these, is refusing to take a risk. Some people are like a little bit too anxious and afraid to take a risk. So what happens if you don't take a risk? You continue repeating the same stuff over and over again. And if it's a life you don't really like, you're like, why is my life so redundant and boring and dull? Well, some people say taking a risk is too risky. Come on, man. Like, all life is risky. It's not like any one of us are going to get out of this thing alive. But there's a difference between taking a risk that's impulsive and dangerous and taking a risk that's done with preparation and support. In order to get from where you are to where you want to be in life, there's a gap right there in the middle. So where you are and where you want to be, there's a gap. And in order from get to here to there might be an entire cliff that you might have to jump over, that you might have to get over. And some people look over the cliff and they say, that's too risky. And some people say, you know what, I'm tired of being here. I'm going for it. And they jump over and they get there. And the moment you do, you realize that sometimes in life, you have to take a risk to get to where you want to be. And again, I'm not saying be kind of reckless and act on your impulses and just kind of like do things that are dangerous. I'm not saying that. I'm saying sometimes in life, you got to take a calculated risk. Most people that have ever succeeded, again, read their autobiographies. Don't just look at their stories where they are right now. Look at where they came from and where they are, and look at the risks they've taken. You got to take a risk sometimes. And people that self-sabotage just won't do it. They like to commit to their comfort zone. And their comfort zone isn't a nice place to be, so they just blow it up over and over again. Okay? Now, number 9, I told you, is my favorite one. And it says undisciplined living. So let me tell you what this is. By the way, if there's any comments, feedback, suggestions, whatever, feel free to write. I don't take offense to it at all. If you disagree with something, feel free to write. That's what all free speech is all about, right? We can disagree with each other. It's okay. So now we got this thing called number 9, undisciplined living. So I'm about to give you some cold, hard facts and some truth that you might not like. But you know what? Here it goes. If you choose to sleep when you want to sleep, wake up when you want to wake up, eat what you want to eat, go where you want to go, do what you want to do, you will never, ever have the life that you dream of. You will never have the things in life that you want. You might not even have the things in life that you need. Because in order to have that life, you got to have discipline. In order to have that life, you have to make some sacrifices. In order to have that life, you can't just go with the flow and expect that you're going to get there. You can't just get in a car and say, I'll drive, thinking you're going to get to a certain destination. It doesn't work that way. So many people want an above average life with an under average work ethic. Like they have a below average work ethic and they want an over average life. They want like an extraordinary life. How does that work out? Discipline is an act of self-love. Let me see right here. Look up. Sobriety is listening. To others that have been there, my sobriety 4 years, 1 month, and 29 days. Hey, good job, Marilyn. I want to make sure I acknowledge that. I'm going to get back to my undisciplined living in a second, but it's always good for us to acknowledge the personal milestones of other people. And by the way, when she says my sobriety and she's that proud of it to break it down to the day and the month, you just know that there's been some really cool things that have happened in that person's world outside of the fact that they stopped drinking and using drugs. Okay? There's a whole world that opens up when we stop doing that. That's just a prerequisite. The good stuff is what happens after that happens. So back to undisciplined living. I'm going to say it again real quick in case somebody came late, but I like to say this one because it's like there's a realness to it. So if you sleep when you want to sleep or wake up when you want to wake up, do what you want to do, go where you want to go, if you eat what you want to eat, and live the way you want to live, thinking that you're going to get certain outcomes in life, I'm telling you that's a delusional thought and you're not going to get there. People have ordinary work ethics and want extraordinary lives. People have below average work ethics and want above average lifestyles. It doesn't work that way. In order to accomplish your goals, you got to have discipline. What is discipline? Doing what you know you have to do, even when you don't want to do it. Don't just go on your feelings. Go on your standards. Nobody feels all the time to do the things they do. But if your standard is health and vitality and helping others and recovery and knowledge and information, if that's your standard in life, you're going to go chase that. But if you go based on your feelings, how do I feel today? Oh, I don't feel like doing that today. I mean, guess what, man? Your life ain't going to get where you want it to get. So it's a powerful thing to know that undisciplined living leads to self-sabotage, but it does. But it does, my friends. Let's see what we got here. The last one Being stopped by failure. So progress is linear sometimes, and you move forward, and then something happens and we fall down. People that stop in that moment and say, okay, well, I'm off, didn't work out. Those people will never succeed in anything in life. My friends, when you fall down and fail forward, because when you get back up again, you make a little progress. That little progress you make after the fall is everything. What you learn from the fall is everything. Failure is just data and evidence of why that happened. Gather it, learn from it, use it. Next time, get a little further. Fail as many times as you need to. Fail forward as many times as you need to get to the destination. When you fail, don't just get up and walk out. Don't just get up and leave. Don't just quit. What do you want to blame? Who do you want to blame? And I'm a big believer that failure is a pretty powerful thing. You know what? I'm going to say something right now that's pretty counterintuitive and potentially controversial. I love failing. I swear to God, I do. And guess what? I'm a perfectionist. For a perfectionist to say he loves failing means that I've understood something about it, that in order to pursue perfection, I cannot and will not ever do it without failing many, 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 many times. Right? I think failure is the path to perfection. And perfection is just it's not actually a destination, my friends. It just means getting really good at something. You got to fail and fail and fail and fail. Let's see. What did Jess say here? It always seems like these talks are aimed at my life. Yes, Jess, I have a mic. I'm watching you everywhere you go in PA, Pennsylvania, and I need to hear and take at the moment. This one was definitely needed today. Thank you for always doing these for everyone. You're very welcome. I'm actually not watching you, just so you know that. But you know what? I need to hear these things sometimes too, because there is no difference between you and me, my friend, besides the fact that we're both human beings. Oh, West Virginia. There you go. Sorry. West Virginia, PA. Sorry, over here in California, they all blend together. I'm just kidding. That's an elitist thing to say. There's no truth to that. It's a completely different place, and I'm well aware. Close enough. Yeah, there you go. Thank you for not judging my American geographics. I am a foreigner. You know, I can get really foreign. And by the way, real quick, for any of the Persian-speaking people watching this, last week's talk about Siamak, I'm working with my parents to translate the whole thing. And one day, I won't do it on the live stream because all the non-Persian speakers are going to be, what the hell's going on? But I'm going to post a video here in the next week of me doing the whole talk in Farsi. So I just, for whoever might need that. But real quick, before I get out of here, if anybody has anything to share about today's talk, maybe a takeaway, maybe a nugget, maybe something they learned from it, feel free to write it. Maybe we can put them up on the board. Failure is only a stepping stone to success, but you must, yeah, absolutely. Like if you want to succeed in life, you got to fail multiple times because it's not really failing. It's just data and evidence. It's learning experience. Yeah, there we go. I like that. I'm big on words, by the way, Eileen. Maybe changing the word from failure to missing the mark changes the energy and make it more effective. Yeah, it's whatever. I'm able to find a positive connotation in the word failure for myself, but I know that society has made failure sound like such a defeated moment. So whatever it is for you, and I'm a big believer in what Eileen's doing here, words matter, and what we tell ourselves matter, and the context that we use those words matter. You know, so if the word failure is something that's so ingrained in your mind to make you feel defeated, then change it. Missing the mark, right? Something like that's totally okay. I've made friends with the word failure, you know, because I realize that I'm a human being and that's just a part of it. And I don't look at society norms. I look at my own norms. But I did need that lesson in life. So what did Cataline say? One of my biggest takeaways from when I met you first was to be teachable. Absolutely. You know, we got that analogy, Cataline, if you remember, what it means to be open-minded versus closed-minded. See, someone that's open-minded, you can put information inside in their palm of their hand, and they could take it with them, and they can apply it. Someone that's closed-minded, no matter what you try to stick in here, they don't take it, and they take it with them. And they wonder why their life doesn't change and why they don't have new information. So you've been open-minded from the time I've met you. And here's the thing. Make sure you stay open-minded. I know you are in this moment, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now, make sure you stay open-minded, because maybe Parham won't be around to put things in your hand, but other people will. And make sure you're able to take a little bit from everyone. And sometimes the people that we think don't teach us much, they got a lot of stuff to teach us. They got a lot of stuff to teach us. Jalajun, you're welcome, as always. Anybody else with any takeaways? If not, we will be wrapping this one up. And if you have any suggestions for next week or any week to come on various topics, feel free to let me know. I'll gladly do them. Okay, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Have a safe Memorial weekend. If you go out doing whatever you do, just be safe, be responsible, be adults. And if there are any veterans out there that are watching this thing, in that regards, thank you for your service. Thank you for helping this country have the things that it has. And love and appreciate all of you. I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.